Update 6 just got confirmed to be a Guilty Gear update for anime Vanguards. I actually play Guilty Gear Strive semi-professionally. Throughout the year, I actually traveled to different majors across the country to compete in tournaments. During the solo leveling update for anime Vanguards, I was actually at Arc World Tour for the Guilty Gear Strive tournament there. Needless to say, when it comes to Guilty Gear, I think I know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to go ahead and break down the teaser we got today, and then afterwards I'm going to make a quick tier list of every single Guilty Gear Strive character and how likely I think they are to getting into anime Vanguards. If you want to skip to get to the tier list, it's going to be timestamped in the video, so you can go ahead and skip forward if you like. So the teaser actually starts off by showing us this stage. This stage is actually called Fallen Prayers Engulfed Lives. This stage is actually a DLC stage that got added to Guilty Gear with ABBA. It's very interesting they chose this stage over a stage like Illyria or the White House. Both stages are far more important to Guilty Gear Strive, but they could also have chosen this stage because the stage actually appears in Guilty Gear Xrd, the previous game. But they could also have just chosen it because it's very pretty, it's a pretty stage. But after a few different shots of the stage, we get to see Elphelt. We can see that Elphelt is actually doing her Strive idle animation here, just swaying back and forth. And then she shoots a gun, her pistol. This is actually her 5H from Guilty Gear Strive and Xrd. And then she does something that's particularly interesting to me. She actually pulls out her Guilty Gear Xrd shotgun. This move is not in Guilty Gear Strive at all. I'll put it up on screen, but this is what it looks like in Guilty Gear Xrd. What this tells me that despite this being a Guilty Gear Strive update with Strive Elphelt in a Strive stage, they are still willing to go back and take moves from previous games, which also tells me that Elphelt's shiny is more than likely going to be her Guilty Gear Xrd outfit, whichever one. Sign or Rev, doesn't matter. Alright, post-editing funky here. I just want to correct myself real quick. The shotgun we see in the teaser is actually from Strive. It's the ending of her Rekka on the H button. I completely forgot about this when I was recording, but while I was getting footage, I remembered about the move. So everything I just said about Xrd is incorrect. However, I would like to stand by the fact that I do think her shiny is gonna be her Guilty Gear Xrd Rev 2 costume, and there's a possibility that we'll see a bundle in the store for her Guilty Gear Sign costume. Both of them are on screen right now. Just want to put that out there. Sorry about that. Back to the teaser. Next up, we actually see Elphelt perform her Miss Charlotte attack, the H version of it. Basically, she just shoots a projectile, and after traveling a distance, it's gonna slow down and then home in on the opponent. As you can see, this is how it works in game. After that, this big explosion of like hearts that she does is a anime Vanguard original that has nothing to do with any version of Elphelt. But what she does right after is actually Elphelt's overdrive in Strive. This is what it looks like in Guilty Gear Strive. They did an excellent job translating it here. But really, that's everything from the teaser. I guess the only thing else I would point out is that if you look at Elphelt's facial animations during each move, she's just very animated. She's just a very well animated character, which I can really appreciate that the developers are going that extra step to give these units the love and care they deserve. But let's go ahead and jump right into this tier list. So to start off our tier list, Elphelt is already in the game. We already know she's getting added, but she's not actually the only character we're gonna put in the already in category, because we are gonna put Lucy from Edge Runners in this category as well. Lucy got confirmed to be a playable character being added into Guilty Gear Strive during EVO last year, so technically I can put her in the already in category. I'm being a little cheeky, but you know. We're gonna go ahead and start off with Soul Bad Guy. He's the main character of Guilty Gear. He's 100% getting in. We'll likely see Gunflame, Volcanic Viper and Fafnir in his moveset. He'll likely have an active ability to go into Dragon Install from Exod to enhance his moves. And afterwards, when he leaves Dragon Install, he might be stunned for a little while, just like how he is in Guilty Gear. Then we have Tai Kisuke. I'm gonna put him in very likely. He's kind of like the Ken to Soul Bad Guys VU, if you know what that means. I might be speaking nonsense to you guys. But basically, he's the second main character of Guilty Gear. But him and Soul are very similar in terms of moves and abilities. So I could see them adding him. But, you know, Soul Bad Guy kind of already fills that role. And I'd much rather have Soul Bad Guy than Tai Kisuke. Next up, we have Mei. I'm gonna put her in 100% getting in. She's one of the most popular Guilty Gear characters, and her moves would likely have to do with her summoning whales, dolphins, going Tosugeki, and then just hitting things with her big anchor. Then we have Axel Low. I'm gonna put him in no way. Axel is a zoner with time stop. It's not like he wouldn't fit into a tower defense game, but I just don't think he's popular enough to really be considered by the developers. Joining him in the no way category is actually gonna be Chip Zaneth. He's a ninja with extremely low HP but extremely good pressure in Guilty Gear. But I don't really see how he'd fit into anime Vanguards, like, at all. He could have a gimmick kind of like Dante, where if he crits, he does a follow-up attack. That could be like a reference to his Rekka and Stride, but outside of that, I don't really see what they could do with him. Then we have Potemkin. Potemkin is really a 50-50 for me. I could see them adding him into the game. He's like one of the most popular characters in Strive, but the issue is that he's a grappler. He wouldn't really have much range. He could use moves like Slide Head to stun enemies. Garuda Impact could do like a massive damage in a circle around him. And then like he could have a straight line attack where he uses Heat Tackle. His most important and iconic move, Potemkin Buster, is kind of hard to translate into a tower defense game. They could make it a boss killer where it's an active ability where you have to click on the ability button and he'll grab one enemy and do like a animation on them, so you can set him to attack boss only and then use that ability to grab the boss and just kill it. I could see it, but I don't know if they do it. Next up we have Faust, and I'm gonna go ahead and put him into very likely. Faust is an item toss character where he pulls random items and throws them. I can see this being one of his main passives in anime Vanguard, where like every 20 seconds he'll throw a new item, and depending on the item he throws, it does a random effect. Like one of them could summon a mini Faust on the track, Meteors could do a big AoE damage across the stage, stuff like that. That would be a very interesting passive to have in anime Vanguards. His attacks could also fit well. He has his Fly Slash, his 2H, his Thrust, his Mix, and Bone Crushing Excitement could all fit really well into a tower defense moveset. Then we have Milia and Zano. I'm going to put both of these characters not in a million years. I do not think these characters will ever see anime Vanguards in the slightest. Milia suffers the same issue as Chip. She just doesn't have a moveset that would fit into a tower defense all too well, and she's just less popular than Chip. And Zano is just not popular at all. People really just tend to hate Zano. It would be really odd if they added these characters. The same cannot be said for Ramathal Valentine, which I think is 100% getting in. She's the sister to Elfelt Valentine. She's a very popular character, and she has super long buttons. Her overdrives, her specials, they could all fit into a tower defense game. And it would be odd if you added Elfelt and not Ramathal. Now, Nago is an interesting character to put on this tier list. I'm gonna go ahead and throw him into I could see it. His gimmick in Strive is his blood gauge. Anytime you use a special move, it fills up this gauge. If you use too many special moves, you explode and you start taking constant damage, but all of your moves are greatly enhanced and you're dealing so much more damage. I can see this translating into anime Vanguards very well, where every time he attacks, he fills up a gauge. If the gauge gets filled to 100%, he takes a livestock, but in turn, he gets enhanced greatly for a period of time. Kind of like how Ichigo does right now in the game, but he would have an active ability that you can toggle and use to lower your blood gauge to make sure you don't just explode and kill yourself. I don't know if they would actually do that, but that would be an interesting way to incorporate his gimmick into anime Vanguards. Next up we have Leo, Giovanna, and Anji. I'm going to put all three of these characters into Not in a Million Years. This might be my bias coming in, but I just don't see how these characters would fit into a tower defense game. None of them are particularly super popular, and I just wouldn't want to see them to begin with. I could, in theory, make up a moveset for each one of them, but I just don't really want to see them. Ino is going to go into No Way. In terms of moves, she has kind of the perfect moveset for a tower defense game, to be honest, but the issue is actually her design and character. She's a hyper-sexualized character in Guilty Gear Strive, and that's kind of the whole point of her character. I won't play them here, but her voice lines really feed into this. I just don't see her getting in. Gold Lewis is another character I'm gonna throw into Not in a Million Years. He really only has 3 special moves that you could pull from, and I guess 2 overdrives, but those are not really usable either. You know, I guess you could say one of those 3 moves has like 12 different versions of it, but I just think his moveset is really limited and he's not super popular, so I just don't see him fitting into anime Vanguards at all. But Jacko is 100% getting in. It would be crazy if Jacko doesn't get into anime Vanguards. Jacko's main gimmick in Guilty Gear Xrd was putting down these towers to summon minions, and you had to protect these towers. She was quite literally a tower defense character. In Strive she's a little different, but because we are willing to pull from Xrd, I do think you could copy Jacko 1-to-1 and it would be pretty much the same. I'd imagine kind of like how Jinwoo's Knight summon works, where you summon the knight and he stands on the track. Jacko can summon a house on the track, and that house would constantly produce minions. It would fit so well into anime Vanguard. She's literally a tower defense character. They have to add her. Happy Chaos is kind of the main villain of Guilty Gear Strive, but I can also just see him being a boss on the stage. So I'm going to put him right in the middle, and I could see him going either way. He could be a usable character with his gunshot and all that, but he could also just be a boss. With Baiken, I'm going to put her into very likely. She's a very popular character, and she has great moves like Mat, Kabami, Yozansen, and her overdrive. That could fit pretty well into anime Vanguard. She's also just popular, so. With Testament, I would love to see him added into the game, but I think she might miss it. He has a pretty interesting moveset with her Angel, Scythe, and Stain, but I think I gotta put him into No Way, but she's probably my second most wanted character. Bridget is 100% getting in. She's the most popular Guilty Gear character by a landslide. She'll have long attacks with her yo-yo, and she'll summon Roger to do some attacks. There's just literally no way Bridget isn't getting into this update. Now Sin Kisuke, I'm gonna put him in very likely. He's the son of Kai, but most importantly, he's the new main character of Guilty Gear. Soul in Guilty Gear Strive lost his power, and in the most recent Guilty Gear anime, Sin is the main character, and going forward, Sin is likely going to be the poster boy for Guilty Gear. If this was a update based on the Guilty Gear anime that's currently airing, Guilty Gear Dual Rulers, he would be 100% getting in. I don't think this is an update based on the anime, but because he is kind of the new main character of Guilty Gear, I'm going to put him in very likely. He's probably going to have Beat Driver, Hawk Baker, Elk Hunt, and Ride the Lightning. His passive is likely going to have to do something with managing eating meat and his stamina bar, but we'll see. Now this next character is actually who I played Guilty Gear Strive, Redman. As much as I would love to put him into very likely, I'm gonna have to put him in Not in a Million Years. He's not popular, and I just don't see him getting added at all. But Redman's main gimmick is that he does a move, and then 3 seconds later, an Ayla version of that move comes out. It would be a very interesting passive in anime Vanguards, but again, I just don't think he's popular enough to be added. But if you're a dev listening, I will spend any amount of money to get a shiny Monarch Bedman if you add him. I will do literally whatever I can to get that shiny Monarch. So keep that in mind if you're a dev listening. We're getting pretty close to the end here with Oscar. I can see them adding Oscar. He's probably one of the most complex fighting game characters ever made. His main gimmick is drawing and playing cards to do attacks. He has 3 different decks of cards he can pull from and then play. Each time he plays a card, it costs him mana, which you have to refill. So it's a juggle of picking a deck, drawing into cards you want to play, and making sure you keep your mana up. It'd be interesting to see how they could translate that into anime Vanguards. I could see it happening. I could also see it not happening. He goes right in the middle. Johnny is very likely. He's a hyper popular character. He has Misfire, Insignia. I don't even know what it's called actually. And I mean, he's a samurai cowboy pirate. Like, he fit right in. Now, Abba's an interesting character because I would normally put her into I Could See It right in the middle, but because we are getting Abba's stage as the main stage of the update, I'm going to put her into very likely. In terms of moves, her main gimmick is her Jealous Rage install. She does a bunch of attacks to build up this bar, and then she can transform into Jealous Rage, where the bar will constantly drain, but she in turn becomes like the best character in the game. There's a lot they can do with her, and Donjai has to be added if they do add her. And yes, before you ask, she is in love with the key. It's a long story. Slayer is going into I Could See It. He's a very popular vampire that does an insane amount of damage. He'd likely have his Dandy Step into Pile, Bunker, Mappa Hunch, and 2H. But outside of that, I don't know what they would do with him. But with that, we finally come to our last 3 characters. Dizzy, Venom, and Unica. All 3 of these characters I'm going to throw into Not in a Million Years. I think they're just too new to Guilty Gear Strive to add. I mean, Unica isn't even out yet. She's coming out later this month. But that's about it for today. That's everything you need to know about Anime Vanguard's upcoming 6.0 Guilty Gear Strive update. If you disagree or have your own takes, let me know in the comments down below. And yeah, that's it. Bye-bye.